I can't be here and not think about Renee. These words, spoken with visible emotion, brought silence to a room full of Hollywood's biggest names. Why did Ryan Coogler, one of cinema's most celebrated directors, turn his moment of triumph into something so personal and vulnerable? What happened reveals the complex relationship between art and the world around us. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button because we explore the stories behind the headlines, the moments that reveal something deeper about film, culture, and humanity. Today, we're looking at a moment that happened just yesterday at the National Board of Review Awards in New York City. Ryan Coogler, the acclaimed director behind Black Panther, Creed, and his latest film Sinners, was being honored for Best Original Screenplay. This should have been a night of pure celebration. But instead, Coogler gave one of the most emotionally raw and thought-provoking speeches you'll see this year. Let's break down what happened and why it matters. Imagine this scenario. You're at one of the most prestigious film award ceremonies. You've just won. Your latest work is being celebrated. The room is full of industry peers ready to applaud you. What do? Most people would thank their collaborators, share a lighthearted moment, and exit with their trophy. Ryan Coogler chose a different path. He stood at that podium and told the room that his heart wasn't in New York that evening. It was in Minnesota. And then he mentioned a name that many in attendance may not have known: Renee Nicole Goode. According to reports, Goode was fatally shot by a federal agent in Minneapolis just days before the ceremony. Coogler's voice wavered as he spoke. His emotion was palpable. This wasn't rehearsed. This was someone wrestling with the tension between celebration and tragedy. Here's where Coogler's speech gains even more depth. He revealed that the last time he attended this particular award ceremony was in 2014 for his breakthrough film Fruitvale Station. If you're not familiar with Fruitvale Station, it tells the true story of Oscar Grant, a young man who died in an encounter with transit police in Oakland, California. The film is powerful, heartbreaking, and it launched Coogler into the spotlight as a filmmaker with something important to say. But Coogler shared something striking. He admitted that back in 2014, he was younger and more optimistic. He believed his film might help change things. He hoped that by documenting Grant's story, it would contribute to preventing similar tragedies. 10 years later, standing at the same ceremony with more success and recognition, Coogler found himself grappling with the reality that the issues he depicted are still present. That weight, that visible struggle with what art can and cannot accomplish, came through in every word he spoke. So what was Coogler referencing when he mentioned Minnesota? Understanding the context helps explain why this location weighed so heavily on his mind. Minneapolis has reportedly become a focal point for tensions surrounding federal immigration enforcement operations. In recent days, multiple incidents have been documented and shared on social media, showing confrontational encounters between authorities and community members. The situation has created anxiety in the community, with various perspectives emerging about enforcement tactics, public safety, and civil liberties. It's a complex issue with strong feelings on multiple sides. For Coogler, this represented a pattern he's been observing and processing throughout his career as a filmmaker who often explores themes of authority, justice, and community. This brings us to the deeper question Coogler's speech raises. What is the relationship between art and social change? Consider it. Fruitvale Station was critically acclaimed. It sparked conversations. It moved audiences worldwide. But the fundamental issues it addressed remain ongoing. Black Panther became a cultural phenomenon, earning over $1 billion and inspiring countless people with its vision of representation and possibility. Yet Coogler seems to be asking, what does this cultural impact mean in the face of continued real-world challenges? You could see this question in Coogler's expression during his speech. But here's an important perspective. The fact that art doesn't solve every problem doesn't diminish its value. Art serves many purposes. It preserves stories. It creates empathy. It keeps difficult conversations visible when they might otherwise fade. Without Fruitvale Station, certain conversations might not have reached as many people. Without Coogler's body of work, we might have fewer touchstones for discussing these complex themes. Art may not end difficult chapters in our society, but it documents them, honors those affected, and keeps us engaged with challenging questions. What Coogler did at that ceremony was choose authenticity over comfort. He could have kept his remarks light and celebratory. Instead, he used his moment to acknowledge a tension many artists feel. He posed an implicit question to everyone watching. How do we hold space for both achievement and awareness? How do we celebrate creative work while remaining conscious of the world that inspires it? These aren't easy questions. They're meant to sit with us. There's often an expectation that award shows exist in their own bubble, separate from current events. Coogler challenged that separation. He said, "These things are connected. This story matters to me. And tonight, it's impossible for me to pretend otherwise." What Coogler's speech revealed is something many artists experience, but rarely express so publicly. The emotional toll of creating work about serious subjects, and then watching those subjects remain relevant in painful ways. Coogler has built a career on telling stories that matter, stories that reflect real struggles and real people. That means he carries those stories with him. He feels responsible to them. In that moment at the NBR Awards, we saw that responsibility clearly. We saw someone who cannot separate his artistic success from his awareness of ongoing challenges. We saw someone who chooses to stay connected to difficult truths, even when it would be easier to focus only on celebration. That choice reveals character. It shows what kind of artist Coogler is, and what drives him as a filmmaker. Ryan Coogler's speech wasn't just about one specific incident, though every story deserves to be heard with dignity. It wasn't just about the limitations of art, though that's certainly part of what he was processing. It was about the choice between comfort and honesty, between performing gratitude on cue and expressing something real, even when it's complicated. Coogler made his choice clear, even when it's difficult, even when the path forward feels uncertain, even when you're supposed to simply smile and celebrate. You acknowledge what's in your heart. You honor the names that matter to you. You stay present with the complexity of the world. That's what makes Coogler not just a talented filmmaker, but an artist with conscience and courage. If this video gave you something to think about, if you appreciate deeper conversations about film and the artists behind it, I'd love for you to subscribe. We're building a community here that values substance and thoughtful discussion. Leave a comment below sharing your perspective. Have you seen Ryan Coogler's films? What did you think about his speech? How do you see the relationship between art and society? And if you want to explore more about Coogler's filmography and impact, I've got other videos on the channel that dive into his work. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.